What is going on, Pretender here, back with another Honkai Star guide, and today I'm here with the full build guide for one of the characters that will be rerunning in the 3.0 first half, being Jade. This video is going to be taking you over her kin Eidolons, followed by that we'll be taking you over her best lightcones, then we'll be taking you over her best relic sets and Planar ornaments, and then finally some relic main stats and substat recommendations. I plan on having a full build guide for every 3.0 character. I already have one out for the Herda, Lingshan, Feixiao, and you are now watching the Jade one. Soon there will be one for Aglia, Boothill, Robin, and Silverwolf. That's all I want to say before I get into the video. If you guys find this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Star content. If you know anyone that needs a Jade guide, be sure to send them this video. Check the description for my other channel and also to join the Discord, and let's get straight into the video. So Jade is a quantum character following the path of erudition. Her basic attack deals quantum damage equal to 90% of Jade's attack to a single target enemy, and quantum damage equal to 30% of Jade's attack to adjacent enemies. Her skill makes a single target ally become a debt collector and increases their speed by 30, lasting for 3 turns. After a debt collector attacks, deals 1 instance of quantum additional damage equal to 25% of Jade's attack to each enemy target hit, and consumes the debt collector's HP by an amount equal to 2% of their max HP. If current HP is insufficient, reduces HP to 1. If Jade becomes a debt collector, she cannot gain the speed boost effect, and her attacks do not consume HP. When the debt collector exists on the field, Jade cannot use her skill. At the start of Jade's every turn, the debt collector's duration decreases by 1 turn. Her ultimate deals quantum damage equal to 240% of Jade's attack to all enemies. At the same time, Jade enhances her Talon's follow-up attack, increasing its damage multiplier by 80%. This enhancement can take effect 2 times. Her talent, after Jade or the debt collector unit attacks, gains 1 point of charge for each enemy hit. Upon reaching 8 points of charge, consumes the 8 points to launch 1 instance of follow-up attack, dealing quantum damage equal to 120% of Jade's attack to all enemies. This follow-up attack does not generate charge. When launching her talent's follow-up attack, Jade immediately gains 5 stacks of pawned asset, with each stack increasing crit damage by 2.4%, stacking up to 50 times. The technique. After using technique, inflicts enemies within a set area with blind fealty for 10 seconds. Enemies inflicted with blind fealty will not initiate attacks on allies. When entering battle via actively attacking enemies inflicted with blind fealty, all enemies with blind fealty will enter combat simultaneously. After entering battle, deals quantum damage equal to 50% of Jade's attack to all enemies and immediately gains 15 stacks of pawn asset. For her bonus traces, her A2, when an enemy target enters combat, Jade gains 1 stack of pawn asset. When the debt collector's turn starts, additionally gains 3 stacks of pawn asset. Her A4, when the battle starts, action advances Jade by 50%, and her A6, each pawn asset stack from the talent additionally increases Jade's attack by 0.5%. For Eidolons, her E1, the follow-up attack damage from Jade's talent increases by 32%. After the debt collector character attacks and the number of enemy targets hit is either 2 or 1, Jade additionally gains 1 or 2 points of charge respectively. For E2, when there are 15 stacks of pawn asset, Jade's crit rate increases by 18%. Her E4, when using ultimate, enables the damage dealt by Jade to ignore 12% of the enemy target's defense, lasting for 3 turns. And her E6, while the debt collector character exists on the field, Jade's quantum res pen increases by 20%, and Jade gains a debt collector state. Taking a look at the best Lightcone options for Jade, her best one is obviously going to be her own signature Lightcone, which provides a 16% increase to crit rate. And while the wearer is in battle, for every 20% crit damage that exceeds 120%. The damage dealt by the follow-up attack increases by 12%. This effect can stack up to 4 times. When the battle starts or after the wearer uses their basic attack, enables the damage dealt by the ultimate or follow-up attack to ignore 20% of the target's defense for 2 turns. So as Jade already gives herself a lot of crit damage, the fact this Lightcone gives her more crit rate is very, very nice. On top of that, she's able to gain a lot more damage dealt thanks to the fact that every 20% above 120% crit damage you do have in battle will increase damage dealt by follow-up attacks by 12%, which again will be her main source of damage. And as she's able to gain a lot thanks to her pawn asset accumulation, once you have a lot of those, you have a bunch of crit damage. It's going to be really easy to make use of this Lightcone, and her kit doesn't really give her much damage dealt, so this Lightcone giving you damage dealt is very, very good. And on top of that, it gives you access to one of the most broken mechanics of being ignoring defense in Starro, because anytime you can ignore defense, it's always super broken. So this Lightcone also providing that for both the ultimate and follow-up attack is extremely good. Since the basic attack you do is whatever, but the ultimate itself does good damage, and her follow-up is her main source of damage, so that giving the defense ignore is very powerful, making this far and none her best option. Another great option is Jingwan's signature Lightcone, as it provides a 36% increase in crit damage and increases damage dealt by the wearer's skill and ultimate by 18%. After the wearer uses skill or ultimate in Summonus Corpus, upon triggering a follow-up attack, consumes Summonus Corpus and increases the damage dealt by the follow-up attack by 48%. Unfortunately, it doesn't provide any crit rate, but the crit damage buff is still nice. The skill damage buff you would get from the 18% increase is useless as their skill does not do damage, but the ultimate damage increase that it also gives is beneficial, as as again she does do damage with her ultimate. And now once you do use your ultimate, you gain the Summonous Corpus, and then once you do proc a follow-up attack, the damage will be increased by 48% because now you have the Summonous Corpus consumed, increasing the damage dealt. Her ultimate also does enhance her follow-up attack, so use the ultimate to gain Summonous Corpus plus enhance your follow-up attack, and now your enhanced follow-up attack will gain the buff, making this Lightcone another fantastic option. Another great Lightcone, primarily in Pure Fiction, is the Knight on the Milky Way Lightcone, which for every enemy on the field increases the wearer's attack by 9% up to 5 stacks, and when the wearer is inflicted with Weakness Break, the damage dealt by the wearer increases by 30% for 1 turn. So you need 5 enemies on the field, which in Pure Fiction, especially now with the new update, will practically always be a thing. So it's a massive increase to attack, which is nice, and once you do inflict Weakness Break, which will be situational if the enemies do have Quantum or not. If they have Quantum, it's extremely easy to break in Pure Fiction as they have a much lower toughness bar opposed to MLC or Apocalyptic Shadow. If they do have that Quantum weakness, it's very easy for Jade to actually break the weakness to get the damage dealt increase. And if you're able to get this in Pure Fiction, it makes it really good, especially if you can Weakness Break it. If you can't Weakness Break, the value of this Lightcone does drop off. But even if you can't Weakness Break, it's still nice since you get a pretty big hefty attack increase. Overall, making it a good option, primarily in Pure Fiction. Another good option is the Herda Shop Lightcone, which increases the wearer's attack by 8%. After using an attack for each enemy hit, additionally increases the attack by 4%. Effect can stack up to 5 times and last until the end of the attack. If there's 3 or more enemy targets hit, this unit's speed increases by 8% for 1 turn. And at S5, it's 12%, 8%, and a 16%. Using her ultimate will be able to give you the attack stack completely, since her ultimate does hit everyone and so does her follow-up attack, so it's going to be easy to stack this up. Plus, you're also already getting the 12% attack for free. So a nice, massive attack increase there, and if you do hit 3 or more enemies, which her basic attack can do, her ultimate can do, and her follow-up attack can do, you get a 16% speed increase. For Jade, that's not too crazy because usually you build her at base speed anyways, but this can also allow you for some specific speed tunings. But even if you do ignore the speed, that's completely fine because it's mainly for the massive attack percent this Lightcone does give, overall making it a good option. Another fantastic option is Today is Another Peaceful Day, which comes with the Battle Pass. After entering battle, increases the wearer's damage based on their maximum energy. Each point of energy increases damage by 0.2%. Maximum of 160 energy will be taken into account for this, and at S5 it is 0.4%. Jade's max energy cost is a total of 140 energy, so she can't make full use of this Lightcone, but can make use of practically almost all of it, which provides her a pretty hefty, especially at higher refinements, increase to damage. And as I mentioned previously, damage bonuses, she doesn't really have that much in her kit, so this providing a lot of damage bonuses is very, very nice. And so especially at higher refinements, this option becomes very powerful. Another option you can use is Jades' Repose, which increases the wearer's attack by 16%. When the wearer defeats an enemy, the wearer's crit damage increases by 24% for 3 turns, and at S5 it's 32%, with a 48% increase to crit damage. So once again, a really, really nice increase to attack percent, especially at S5. And defeating an enemy is very easy with Jade as she's able to constantly hit everyone, so you're bound to kill one eventually. You get a 48% increase to crit damage, which is absolutely massive, especially for 3 turns at that. So it's very easy to refresh the time on this, making this another powerful option. And a pretty solid free-to-play option is the Seriousness of Breakfast, which increases the wearer's damage by 12%. For every enemy defeated by the wearer's attack increases by 4%, stacking up to 3 times. And at S5, it is 24%, and the stacking of attack goes up to 8. So at base, you get a 24% damage increase, which is really nice. And once you do defeat 3 enemies, you are able to gain a total of 24% attack, which is really nice, and this will not expire. So if you're able to kill 3 enemies quickly, which is very doable in something like Pure Fiction or even Memory of Chaos at times, it becomes both a nice damage increase and also a nice attack increase, making it a pretty solid option for free to play. Taking a look at the best relic options for Jade, if they are 100% weak to Quantum, the Genius set becomes their best in slot, as it provides a 10% increase to Quantum damage, and the 4 base when the wearer deals damage to the target enemy ignores 10% defense. If the target has Quantum weakness, the wearer additionally ignores 10% defense. So the 2 piece, as she is a Quantum character, she's able to make use of this 2 piece effectively, and the 4 piece gives a 10% defense ignore, which at base is already really nice. And if they do have the Quantum weakness, that defense ignore becomes 20%, making it that much more powerful. So if they do have the Quantum weakness, this becomes their best relic set far and none. But even if they don't have Quantum weakness, it's still a pretty viable option. Another good set is the 4 piece of the Grand Duke set, which the 2 piece increases damage dealt by follow-up attacks by 20%, and the 4 piece when the wearer uses a follow-up attack increases the wearer's attack by 6% for every time the follow-up attack deals damage. This effect can stack up to 8 times, lasts for 3 turns, and is removed the next time the wearer uses a follow-up attack. So the 2 piece is already really good, buffing up her main source of damage, and the 4 piece, it is stackable as she is able to hit multiple times, especially with their enhanced follow-up attack. So the fact she's able to hit multiple times with with the actual follow-up that she does have lets her stack this up a pretty good amount, and also giving her a very nice attack increase at that. So 4-piece Grand Duke is another good option. Past that is pretty much just combining 2-piece and 2-piece. So you can do 2-piece of the Grand Duke set, you can do 2-piece of the Genius set, or if you are doing 2 pieces, I personally do recommend doing 2-piece of the Scholar set, because the 8% crit rate it does provide you is very nice. So you can do 2-piece Scholar and 2-piece of the Genius set, or 2-piece of one of the attack percent increasing sets, such as the Wind Soaring set, the Prisoner set, or the Musketeer set, or 2-piece Scholar and 2-piece Grand Duke because of the follow-up attack increase. That's another option you can do. For 2 pieces, you have relatively flexible options. And another thing to note is the 4-piece, running a 4-piece is not too far ahead of doing 2-piece 2-piece. So if you have really good 2-piece 2-piece, so if you have really good of 2 Scholar sets and 2 good Grand Duke pieces, but you don't have good 4 pieces for Grand Duke, then you could safely do that because it's not too much better than doing something like 4-piece of the Genius set. Since once again, I did mention 4-piece of the Genius set is best if they are weak to Quantum. If they are weak to Quantum, it's easily the best. If not, then the Duke set does become a bit better. But even running 2-piece of Scholar and 2-piece of Grand Duke and something like 2-piece 2-piece is not too far behind. For the best Planar Ornaments, this does depend if you are running her with other follow-up characters, which for the most part you will. Overall, Durd is going to be her best set, as it does give you up to a 25% increase to follow-up damage when you do stack it up. And just to stack it up, you just need people doing follow-up attacks, which also does include the wear. And once you have 5 stacks, you also get an additional 25% crit damage increase. So this is going to be best for her damage output. Unfortunately, it does not provide crit rate, but the crit damage it provides is still really helpful, especially the follow-up damage percent you do get is also very nice. And so if you're able to stack this up quickly, this easily becomes your best one. Another fantastic set if you are running another erudition character is the Izmo set, which gives the wearer 12% attack, and when entering battle, if a teammate follows the same path as the wearer, increases the wearer's crit rate by 12%. Though the only restriction is you'll need another erudition character, which you usually in something like Pure Fiction will pair with someone like Herda or Himiko, and this especially does include the upcoming Herda, so that's going to be really good synergy. In that case, you can also use Izmo because the 12% crit rate on your Jade is really nice, since once again, a lot of crit rate is very nice. So if another character does follow the path of erudition on your team you are running Jade with, then you can safely use Izmo, and this also becomes one of her best sets. Another fantastic set is the Inner Solsato set, which increases the wearer's crit rate by 8%, and when the wearer's current crit rate reaches 50% or higher, the damage dealt by the wearer's ultimate and follow-up attack increases by 15%. So having 50% or higher crit rate is definitely going to be a must on Jade. You're already going to have a lot more than that, so it's practically becoming a free increase to your ultimate and follow-up attack damage. Also does provide you 8% crit rate, which is also very, very nice, making Solsato another fantastic option. Now, mainly in Pure Fiction, which is the mode she does excel at, the Unclaimed Desolation set is also very powerful, as it does provide a 4% increase in crit rate, and when an enemy target gets defeated, the wearer's crit damage increases by 4%, stacking up to 10 times. So extra 4% crit rate is nice, and stacking up this totally gives you up to 40% crit damage, which is very, very, very nice. So 4% crit rate and 40% crit damage is very good. The reason I say Pure Fiction specifically is because usually everywhere else you won't really be able to stack it up fully, but in Pure Fiction it's extremely easy to stack it up. And since she does excel in Pure Fiction, most people will only be using her in Pure Fiction, so this is another very powerful set if you are keeping her in Pure Fiction. For the main stats on the Relics, for the body, you want to primarily have crit rate because more crit rate is going to be a lot more wanted on Jade, since having high crit rate is very, very much going to be preferred. But if you have really, really good crit rate rolls on your Relics already, then you can opt to do a crit damage body. For the feat, you want to have attack percent, as Jade doesn't really have a need for speed. And thanks to her bonus trait, she's able to practically go first in the battle when it does begin, easily being able to apply the buff to your ally and having the deck collector actually be the one to generate her stacks. So running attack percent boost for the big increase to her damage will be the better option. For the orb, you want to have quantum damage, and for the link rope, you want attack percent. For the substats, it's pretty much just your generic DPS stuff, so more crit rate is going to be really nice. You want to get around the 80s in crit rate, even up to 90s. The more the better, pretty much. You want to get to close as 100 as possible. Past that will be more crit damage, and then past that will be more attack percent. So once again, as much crit rate as possible, you want to aim for around the 80s to 90s. If you can get to 100, that's going to be really good. Past that will be more crit damage, and then again, past that would be more attack percent. And yep, that is the full build guide for Jade. Once again, hope you guys found the video helpful. If you did, be sure to drop a like on the video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Star Wars content. That's all I want to say. Peace out.